All right, we're getting ready for the live stream. Just see if it's there. There it is. Perfect. Hello, YouTube. How are you? This is my third attempt today to do this, and let's hope that it works. We've been having some technical difficulties. Not all of the videos were showing up, so let's hope that we've got that fixed and that we are able to make it work. And so if you haven't seen me before, hi, my name is Tim Barnaby. I'm a B2B sales professional trainer. I work with B2B sales professionals who are looking to elevate the way in which they sell. And that really comes to today's topic of, where do you fall on the scale? And what I mean by that is that a lot of people are a little nervous right now here in February of 2023. We are seeing big changes happening, some good, some bad. We have some good jobs report out of the US. Some of the people up here in Canada are still struggling a little bit with some job losses. We are still hearing about other job losses in other sectors, and how inflation is still a challenge for people when it comes to being able to buy things, not just from an individual level, but also for companies as well. And so this is where I want you to think about, as somebody who's out there selling in the B2B space, what can we do to elevate the way in which we sell and not be seen at the low end of the spectrum, but really be the standout sales professional that that you're capable of being, that that's where you want to be seen as, but perhaps you're not being seen in that light today. And so I really wanted to go through and talk through the different levels and maybe get you to rethink about where you sit on that ring, if you will, this chain that I'm going to show you, and perhaps then where you can start to rethink how you can go about selling to your future customers to elevate the way in which you do that. This is where we've run into problems before. Let's hope that it works this time. So right now, I want you to think about the levels as being a triangle. So when I draw my triangle here, at the lowest level of when you're thinking about selling, this is where I would call it the red zone. And the red's generally not good. And in this case, it's not. Because at this level, this lowest level, this is where you're seen as a commodity. And at a commodity level, the challenge is that this is what is the lowest level of being out in the market and showcasing what it is that you have to offer. These are the people who do what I call the quote and hope. We're sending out proposals. We're sending out quotes. We're answering RFPs that we were invited to just because we were invited to them without any additional context as to why we should be included and whether it makes sense for us to be included. And it's really taking any product or service or solution that we offer to our customer and boiling it down to a point for them to look at and judge us based on lowest price. There are some industries that compete in this way. And if you think about how you can elevate that thinking, that even though it might be the way the market perceives that is the way we should be buying things, perhaps we can elevate it so that we aren't thought of as a commodity. Speaking from a procurement perspective, this is where they want you to be seen. It's easy to match you up and put you in a box that you're compared against somebody else at the same level so that it's just a true apples to apples comparison, and in which case we can just choose the lowest price and be good with it. It's not always the case it's the lowest price, but don't we sometimes feel like they we know we're a slight premium compared to our lowest price competitors, but we know that the customer has that lowest price, and then all they're trying to do is get us to be closer to what that is. And this is the kind of conversation that isn't really helping either party. If you don't necessarily compete in that kind of space, you're likely eroding any margin that you have. You're eroding any relationship build because you're just always seen as somebody who's got to cut corners to get down to a check bar price point. It's living in a way that is fearful. And that's where it means to be competing in this space, is that we aren't confident enough in what we offer and the value that we can bring to that potential customer that we're willing to bring ourselves down to a level that if you just look at us at a pricing perspective and the lowest price wins, well, okay, there you go. That's what we hope we are. We hope that we're the lowest price and that's the best that we can do. So it's this fear line that we have to cross over and say that we don't believe that we win because we are the cheapest in the market. We deliver value, and we can showcase that to you, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, in a way that it's not the lowest, but it's certainly better than, getting something that is just like everybody else. And so that would bring you up to the next layer. If we're coming over here and we are willing to do more, if we're willing to step up our game a little bit and not play in that commodity space, then we're into the amber zone of selling. And the amber zone is certainly one step up, not great, but it's better. This is where things are no longer just about the commodity, but now we actually are competitive. We have a position around what our products and solutions can do. So we're talking our products and our solutions and our services, and we're talking about features and benefits, and we're talking about that it's not necessarily a price, but it's an investment. It's an investment in the business that they're going to make. We're not talking about price, we're talking investment, which investment would imply that there would be a return. So by speaking in a way that we're not like everybody else, that we stand out from the competitors that are in our space, we know who they are, they know who we are, we know what our advantages are over them. That's why we differentiate ourselves from them. When you make an investment in us, there's a demonstrated ROI that comes along with it. And we can speak to what that would mean for you as an organization. We can speak about how that will help you grow your business. It certainly elevates us up from the lowest rung, which is just, well, we're cheaper than the other guys. So having a conversation at this level certainly brings us up a notch. Once we get past that fear line and are willing to say that we have more to offer than just lowest price, bare rungs, we'll do whatever you ask us to do. Now, well, we're not going to do just anything that you ask us to do. We offer more. We bring value. We bring differentiation. We can stand out amongst our competitors. We know where we sit in a matrix, a quadratic matrix that, where we're in the experts phase or emerging phase, whatnot. We know what it means to be a part of the solution here, and we know where we fit, what makes sense for us, where we know what the ideal customers are. We can speak a language that is certainly elevated from what lowest rung commodity level speak is. So, get past that fear line, get into that competitive space, and now you start to be seen differently in the market compared to what your competitors are doing. When you go to the next level, though, that's when it starts to get even more interesting, because now we're starting to get out of amber zone and into green zone. So, okay, and in the green zone, that's where we elevate the conversation even more, because now we're not just competitive when we are speaking. we are coming across at expert level. And when we're seen as the expert, the conversation again has shifted and changed. We're not just able to differentiate on products and solutions. We're bringing a more collaborative approach. This is collaborative selling. Okay, I think we're back. Let's stop there for a second. So what I was saying was at the expert level, this is where it's collaborative. This is where we are learning about their business, learning about their challenges, learning about where they're going, their goals and objectives, their 3-year, 5-year plan, what's been working in the past, how it's different going forward, what are they seeing as potential disruptions in their marketplace, what do we see, what do we bring to the table with value add of what we see the market going and where we see the challenges for them are and where we believe that they need to make up for not following through. This is, again, elevating that conversation and saying we know where our competition are, but you really want to trust us because we're the experts in the space. We not only have good pricing, not the lowest price, we're definitely not the cheapest because you don't get this for the cheapest. You have to pay more. You have to make an investment that has a return on the investment for you. And we can certainly demonstrate that, but we do that because the investment that you're making is customized. This is customized solutions for your customer. When I think about buying a shirt, I can pick any shirt in the world and find the lowest price. Absolutely. But if I really want to elevate my game a little bit, if I really want to get something that has nicer thread count and that fits me where I don't have wrinkles or, again, different type of material, there's an investment that needs to be made that will carry forward, because if the cheapest ones usually fall apart, then this one will last me longer. So there's a return on that investment for longevity purposes. And then there's the customization. Like today's customized shirt where I've got yellow buttons and a yellow collar and on the sleeves and it matches my yellow microphone cover. Right. I've made an investment in the shirt. I've got a demonstrated ROI, but it's customized for me and elevates me now compared to just buying any shirt off the rack. So having a conversation with somebody who wants to have that level of conversation, to speak at an expert manner, knowing who the competition are, but adding more to the conversation is green level thinking. But there's a problem when we get to this level. And the challenge is that when we are putting ourselves out there in this way, we think this is good enough. And the truth is that at this level, there is a higher level of selling. And when we think about what that looks like, getting past the pricing, getting past the ROI, getting past the customization, and being seen no longer just as an expert, the people who are truly standing out and are able to sell more and are able to have better relationships are because they are having deeper conversations that are at a higher level, one that would be seen as visionary. They're taking the conversation to a level where we're no longer just collaborating. We're no longer just talking features and benefits. We're no longer just, adding a proposal and hoping, but we're really and truly becoming more. We're being seen as that trusted person with intimate knowledge that has done its research, that is speaking to the customer in a way where it's as if they sit beside us every single day. Like we're in their head. We know more about them than they know about themselves. We've challenged them to rethink about their business. We're having conversations around their business problems and challenges and how the potential solution that we may be offering, if it's the right fit, whether or not it makes sense for them or not, we're having it at a level where, again, they might not even think that they have a business problem that they're facing. And yet, when you walk through it, they realize, oh my gosh, No one's spoken to us about this before, and now we can see where we may be losing money, or now we can see where there's more profitability to be had, or now we can see where there's an opportunity to reduce the amount of turnover that we have just by, again, walking the conversation further than just, do you need to buy something? So it becomes more around, you become the obvious choice, because nobody else is speaking like this to you. Nobody else is having this kind of a conversation, this elevated sense of a conversation with you compared to others. So when you're the obvious choice, it's not about ROI and it's not about customized solution. It's about promised outcomes. Not only is this solution going to fix the immediate problem, but it's going to help you go further in your business. It's going to help you drive revenue. It's going to help you reduce profitability. It's going to help you reduce turnover. You can only make those statements if you've had that kind of conversation. And that's where you stand out and become different. You become better than good enough because you're willing to extend the conversation further, understand business challenges, understand pain points. You know, some people don't like to use the pain word, but really and truly, like, being in the business with them as if you're sitting right beside them and help guiding them in a way that perhaps they've never thought that that was where they wanted to go. And when you think about this scale and what you can do with it, when you are at the lower level, this is businesses talking themselves out of you. There are finding reasons not to do business with you, right? You're not the lowest price. You are not meeting our terms and conditions. You are not checking all the boxes in our RFP, right? They're looking for reasons not to want to buy from you. When you're the obvious choice, when there's no one else out there, we're talking ourselves into you. We're trying to make an executive see that through the research, through the process, their buying process and your sales process, through the collaborative efforts, there's no one else who understands us more. There's no one else that has challenged us more. There's no one else that's gotten us to think about our business and how it could be potentially affected in the future compared to these guys. And why would I want to have a conversation with somebody who can offer me a cheaper price when I know that if I tried to even talk to them about what the obvious choice has uncovered, they wouldn't understand it because they don't have anybody willing to challenge us the way these people do. So getting past that good enough line and elevating yourself from being more of an expert to a visionary, to push the status quo, which is your biggest competitor, to make the customer see that status quo just won't be good enough in 2023. And it will actually leave them further behind if they don't consider you the obvious choice as being the one that they should be working with. My question to you is, where do you see yourself selling on this scale? Because if you're falling into the trap of commodity, you can always get past the fear and at least elevate yourself to the competitive position. You can find value and work through an ROI. When you take the next step up and really become collaborative, really customize something for that company, then you're, again, putting yourself above the competition in a way that there really are only a few that they could consider. But when you push past that good enough line to visionary, the obvious choice, then there really is only one. You stand in a market amongst yourself. So finding a way to get past the expert stage, finding a way in which to have a conversation that becomes more visionary, that has promised outcomes for their business, is what's going to make you stand out and sell more in 2023. So that's what I got. Now, I did see a technical issue, but we're still live right now. And so I'll go back and check the replay to make sure that this all worked, because I feel like this was a good take on, on what I've been trying to get across on the platform today. But I'd really like to hear your feedback on this. What is that takeaway that you might have from watching this and saying to yourself, where do I fall on that scale? Where does me as a professional seller fall on that scale? Where do we as an organization fall on that scale? Because we can't do this alone. We definitely need more people to be a part of the team that helps us move into that visionary status. It takes a lot of resources and effort to really think differently and get to that higher level. So where do you fall? Where is it that you're sitting currently today, and where do you want to get to in the next 3 months or 6 months' time? Before the end of the year, can you move yourself at least one ring up? Can you move? I think everybody can move from commodity to competitive pretty much tomorrow, which is really just saying that we're no longer going to be the lowest price. We're going to offer something that's more value driven and that has a worthwhile investment to our customer. And we can demonstrate that to them with that it's worth an investment, it's worth a conversation. Let's at least push ourselves past that fear line and get into that role. And then from there, where can you fall on the scale? Where can you see yourself striving to be that visionary seller who becomes the obvious choice for your customer to want to buy from? That's what I wanted to share today. I hope you've got some value from it. Put some comments down below and let me know what you think. If you haven't already, subscribed to the channel. Would love to get your feedback as I put out more content like this. And if there's anything else that you're interested in learning about from a B2B sales perspective, I'd love to hear your comments about that. And I'll be hopefully then able to share it with you on a future live stream. So there we go. We got the live stream done. Hopefully that take worked with no further technical issues. And I look forward to sharing more with you in a future live stream or a future video. So make sure you're subscribed and stay tuned, because we've got lots more coming up. If you haven't already, you can also check out my website, timbarnaby.com. There I'm putting out posts on a weekly basis, so you can check out the blog. Or if you want, you can also check out my podcast. It's Win the Deal Show. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, now on Amazon Music as well, or wherever you get your podcast. And there is a podcast YouTube channel, so you can watch the visuals. Sometimes I draw on the iPad like I did here today on the live stream. All right, that's it for now. Hope all is well, and we look forward to sharing more with you on the next video.